Good evening, friends. I have the honor to read this citation for Dr. Nirmala. Dr. Nirmala Sara Tharien was born and brought up in Ottinchitram, where her parents, the late Dr. and Mrs. A.K. Tharien, founded the Christian Fellowship Hospital. Right from an early age, she imbibed the spirit of the place, the simple and humble way of life it espouses, and a deep sensitivity to the needs of the disadvantaged and the marginalized people. Dr. Nirmala joined Christian Medical College, Vellore, for her undergraduate medical studies in the year 1977. Here too, the friendships and fellowships formed over Bible studies and the Evangelical Union helped her grow in faith and cemented a desire to work in a small place where there is a need. She particularly remembers one Bible study when the speaker asked the students to pray for any one tribal group of India. Dr. Nirmala chose the Bondo tribe, little realizing the paths God would take her to. She married Dr. Verghese Philip, alumnus of the batch of the year 1974, whom Dr. Nirmala gently calls adventurous. After a few years in Chandak in Uttarakhand and Ottinchitram, they returned to CMC Vellore for their postgraduate training with Dr. Nirmala specializing in anesthesia. They then went back to Ottinchitram for 2 years, all the while praying and hungering to be led to an area of great need. Along with 2 other doctor couples, they decided to start a medical mission in Orissa, one of the least developed states of India, and they chose Koraput district, officially a deprived district. In the year 91, the small team reached Lamtaput and began their work with, among other tribes, the Bondo tribals, the same group Dr. Nirmala had raised her heart and hands to God decades earlier. It was in a mud hut with a cow dung floor that the team began their work. Dr. Nirmala recalls a patient requiring emergency surgery, and all she had was a small apparatus given by her teacher, Dr. Valerie Major. From those humble, challenging beginnings rose the Asha Kiran Hospital, truly a ray of light in the barren landscape of Lamtaput. The hospital and the Asha Kiran Society epitomizes a model of healthcare that goes beyond the conventional norms to include nutrition, agriculture, public health, and education. Of Asha Kiran, Dr. Nirmala humbly says, God provided, He opened doors, brought other people, and we have the satisfaction of simply doing what God planned. After about 8 years in Asha Kiran Hospital, Doctors Nirmala and Verghese joined the EHA and moved to New Delhi. The big city seemed unfamiliar, yet Dr. Nirmala found fulfillment in initiating Shalom, a care center for persons with HIV, drug addicts, etc. She continued this work while working in the Hoskote Mission Hospital near Bangalore. The adventure continues as she and Dr. Verghese are now based in Papua New Guinea, working with the Mission Aviation Fellowship. Her life-defining moment came when she asked God to take care of her 2 daughters, their education and life plans. And Dr. Nirmala gratefully testifies to the loving mercies and grace of a faithful God. Thus, even when she walked through the valley of shadow of a malignancy that required almost a year of treatment, surgery, and chemotherapy, she trusted the purpose and provision of God. There is a beauty and grace in the humility and unassuming manner that characterizes Dr. Nirmala. It comes from one who has completely and faithfully given of herself to others and thus to God. It comes from knowing that when we take that step into the darkness of the unknown, we must believe that one of 2 things will happen. There will be something solid for us to stand on, or we will be taught to fly. Dr. Nirmala's life and work is a reflection of the college motto, not to be ministered unto, but to minister. Christian Medical College is proud to honor Dr. Nirmala Sara Tharien with the certificate for meritorious service for this year 2018.
I stand here as a testimony to God's provision and faithfulness in my life. And I am grateful to God for the opportunity He gave me to study here in CMC. CMC is unique in building relationships. That's what I felt was so unique about CMC. We built relationships with our teachers, our classmates, our seniors, and our juniors. That helped build me up during my student days. And I imbibed some of their values that they imparted to me. And I would say that this continued as we started working. That encouraged us and strengthened us. The relationships that we built when we were students. And I would like to share that as we started our work in Asha Kiran in Orissa, one of the members who joined us and were part of our team was one of our juniors. This all built up during our student days of talking about what we can do in future. So I value very much my student days. And I also want to give an example of one of our teachers. There are many examples of our teachers. I don't want to mention everyone's names, but I'd just like to mention Dr. Pizak. When he knew that we had gone to Orissa without much funds and we had started something, he spoke to his people whom he knew, his friends, and they gave a major portion of donation for us to start buying the land and making buildings. I know that it is God who was behind all this and helped us. When we went to Orissa, it was an act of faith in the God who would provide. We didn't have any capital funding. We trusted that God will provide, and we were amazed at how God provided all the needs as it arose at the right time. It was not given before. With each need, the provision was there. And our work progressed very fast, and more areas we covered than we had ever anticipated. And when we went, I want to say that we were concerned for our children more than ourselves. As parents and as mother, one of our main concerns is our children. And all I ask God is to take care of them. And when we went, there was a lot of falciparum malaria there. And I was afraid for my children's health. And there was no school when we went. And I didn't want to send my children away from us. But within 2 years, another organization started a school there. So this is how we saw that though we took a step of faith, God provided what we needed. I would say God is no man's debtor. That's what we experienced. And He has provided more than we ever imagined. As we moved to different places and organizations, I did feel out of place and wondered what I'm going to do, especially in a city like Delhi. But God, who's faithful to His promises, opened new doors for me to work and opportunities which I didn't imagine before. Sometimes I had to wait for a few months without a job. Those were days when I wondered, what am I doing? But I realized later on that these periods of waiting were needed to prepare me for the work ahead. I won't say there were no difficulties, there were difficulties in each of those places. But the teamwork that helped us a lot wherever we worked. Because there are so many times when we used to get discouraged, but the other team members encouraged us. There's a strong strength in teamwork. And of course, God's presence and provisions carried us through. I would say God takes our promises seriously to serve Him. If we promise that God will go all the way and help us to fulfill our promises to Him. And I want to thank this God. Thank you, each one of you.